What is up, guys? I'm here with another deck profile for you. If you've been enjoying my content, guys, leave a like on this video, comment, let me know what you want to see next, and subscribe to the channel. I've got more amazing profiles coming for you soon. But this is a very interesting deck. MAJESPECTER, Wind Witch. I mean, to be honest, you don't see this deck around anymore, but it's quite strong. It's probably one of the better control decks at the moment, and it can definitely contend up to about the rogue level, I would say. I mean, the deck does do a lot, so let's get into that. So it's quite simple actually, build this deck. As you can see, I just play 3 of all the main MAJESPECTERs: Kyuubi, Ogama, Yata, and Baku, and Nekomata as well. Again, they all have really good effects. So Kyuubi allows you to add a trap to your hand, which you're going to be using to add either your destroy card or your counter trap. Ogama is going to allow you to set one, so it's basically the same effect. And what's really nice about Ogama is because it sets it directly from the deck, similar to like Altergeist or Marionetta, your opponent cannot ash this effect, which is really nice. It allows you to kind of dodge those kinds of interactions. Then you have Yata. When it's special summon, it allows you to add a spell to your hand. This is one of the ones you are going to want to scale more often than not, because the effect is good, but you're not usually that bothered about having the spells apart from specific situations. Baku, this is the very, very well-known one. You see this in endymion often, and it literally just adds another MAJESPECTER to the hand. What makes this particularly good is that it's pretty much never a brick, simply because this card can add itself as well. So even if you draw Baku and you only have Baku left in your deck, you can still add another one back to your hand. A really good card, so you're definitely playing that 3 of. And Nekomata, this is the other one that you're generally going to use as a scale. This one lets you add a card, but during the end phase. So this and Yata are the 2 scales most of the time, just because their effects are probably the weakest. Having said that, all the MAJESPECTERs can be used as scales. Now, one thing you'll notice, they don't have any effects in scale, but to be honest, that does not matter. To be honest, that's really why they're balanced, simply because they don't have extra effects in their scale as well. Then moving past that, we also have the Wind Witches. The Wind Witches are a great fit for this deck. They are all wind spellcasters. Everything in this deck is a wind spellcasters, and the Wind Witches just provide a very, very consistent way to get into these powerful synchros. The Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which, to be honest, even today, a lot of decks cannot deal with that card, so it's just a really card to go into. So obviously your ratios can vary with the Wind Witch engine, but I like the 3-2-1 ratio simply because you always want to see Ice Spell. Glass Spell is not terrible to see, and then Snowball is always going to be the one you want to search. Now, moving on from that, I play 3 Extrav. Now, I like Extravagance personally, but you do not have to play that. If you want to play a budget option, the Spellbook engine is very good in this deck. You do like your normal summon, but being a pendulum deck, you can get away without playing it. And you can also play stuff like Magician's Restage instead. Another great card for this archetype. However, I tend to not, because this deck is already kind of low on spell or trap zones, and they tend to rely a lot on their spells or traps. But yeah, you can play other things like the Spellbook engine and such, just to kind of provide draw power if Extravagance is too expensive for you. 1 Terraforming, 1 Cosmic Cyclone. This is really just an addition into the deck as kind of like an extra one-off because I had space. But this could be anything. You could play 1 Ash, 1 whatever. You can even play 1 Upside. It really doesn't matter that much. MAJESPECTER Sonics. I played just 1 of this card. It is very good. I do like this card just because it works during the damage steps, so it is nice to get over some monsters, and that is probably one of the bigger weaknesses of this deck. You will struggle sometimes to beat over bigger monsters. Then moving past that, we have MAJESPECTER Cyclone, a really good card, just a simple destruction. Secret Village, this card is amazing. You are playing a pendulum deck and it's full of spellcasters. I mean, you're always going to be able to make this live and lock your opponent out. Secret Village destroys so many decks at the moment. Some of the top tier decks can get around it, but if you're playing anything kind of rogue or below, a lot of the times they're going to see Secret Village on turn 1 and they're just going to have to scoop, especially if it's backed up by things like Solemn. Then moving on from that, we have 1 MAJESPECTER Tornado. Now this card is really, really strong, and the real reason is firstly, it's not a once per turn, similar to the other MAJESPECTER cards, and then on top of that, it banishes the card as opposed to destroying it. This is always good. You're always going to want to banish and get rid of resources, because a lot of decks cannot deal with losing resources like that. Then MAJESPECTER Tempest, this is a really good card. Again, this is basically like a Solemn Strike for your archetype. Again, now all the MAJESPECTERs do make you tribute a monster, but you're playing pendulums, so you don't care that much, and all you have to do is tribute a wind spellcaster, so your Wind Witches are also valid targets for all of them. MAJESPECTER Tempest, another good card. And then 3 Solemn Judgments, and again, this is flexible. You could play more strikes if you wanted to. You could play Crackdown. I mean, there's so many options. So remember, it's always about being flexible, and I always say it, when you're going to a tournament, when you're going to a competition, what you need to do is look at what the meta is around you and then make decisions based on that. If you're going to be going into a tournament and you're only going to be playing against decks that are low tier and that are not going to be doing a lot of special summoning, this is not going to be that useful. You're not going to want to play that. Of course, you're going to want to play a card that allows you to play that grind game more. However, if you're playing against decks that are going to be doing a lot of hardcore special summoning, they're going to be special summoning 4 or 5 cards at a time, things like that, Solemn Judgment becomes a really good card. If you're going to be playing against a lot of decks that are going to be OTKing you, this is probably not the best idea either. But yeah, again, just kind of look at what the format is, look at what you're up against, and that's where you can make the decision for cards like this and flex into it. Impermanence is another really good option. Then looking in the extra deck, as you can see, you're quite flexible with this deck. It doesn't really need an extra deck. It's an archetype that has all of the tools within itself. And so I tend to just play kind of really basic staples. So I play all of the Wind Witches and the Synchro Dragons just because they're good cards with the Wind Witch engine, Access Code, and Selene. Selene is really good because this deck is full of spellcasters. Access Code occasionally if I need to pop things on the field and just to push for game. But again, very simple deck. This deck is really, really fun and simple to play. I would say that as an introduction to pendulums, this is a really good archetype because you're not going to need to worry too much about combos. Everything you do is pretty straightforward. If you're normal summoning a monster, it's going to search one card and the combo play is pretty straightforward from there. Moving on to the extra deck, you have a lot of flexibility. So I like 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Storm, and 3 Evenly Matched. They are all really good cards, but again, it really depends on what you're going to be coming up against as to what you decide to play in your side deck. But yeah, guys, that is my MAJESPECTER Wind Witch deck. I'm not really going to show you any combos because there's not much you need to see about it. But that is the deck. If you enjoy this profile, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I've got more videos coming for you soon. Peace.